Hello and welcome to the Golden Polar Bear. This is a live session. This is an open kitchen and everybody is invited, always. It is just you and me and the camera. I have no camera operator here. I have another heartbeat in the house and that is my Georgia. It's the 5th of November, so there are fireworks going off right outside my house. So yes, I will operate my own cameras because I know what I want you to see. Today we are making cider-braised butter beans and the recipe is on the website, and it also mentions how to cook parsnip mash, which is lovely, and also a salad, pear and apple salad, and a little bit of a dressing with some maple toasted walnuts on the top. So we are going to do the main event today. This dish is perfect for crowd pleasing in the winter and in the autumn. I made this and I thought this is a perfect Christmas Eve dinner, or indeed a perfect one for New Year's Eve. It is a make ahead, as most of my dishes are, because I recognise that we live in the real world, and with the best of intentions we don't always have the time to be devoting hours to cookery. However, this is 7 o'clock. We are here to make our tea. We are answering the world's question is, what are we going to have for tea? What's for tea? Looking in the fridge, and here I am answering that question for you. And it is not a time for stress. Cooking is a time to come back to yourself and to relax. And so this is all live. This is as long as it takes, because that is really, truly what cookery is about. It takes what it takes. It's not a thing to speed up. The rest of life is that, but cookery is when you can come back. You can have a glass of wine if that's what you want, and you can put the radio on, listen to your favourite music and relax and cook a lovely, nourishing evening meal. So I've got some oil here now, warm in here, and I've chopped before I came. Well, I think I probably went live and then just did it. I've got some onion petals, red onion petals, and let's just turn this down a little bit. Let's just have a look at that. Some red onion petals, and we're going to put them in the pan and then we're going to leave them. So let's give you a look at that. And the reason we leave them, we put some salt in there, we toss them a little bit, we make sure they're spread out across the pan, and we leave them because they are in contact with the pan and in contact with the heat, and we need them to char on the outside and to caramelise. So there's no point constantly moving them around. This is not a stir fry. So let's just make sure they're nicely spread out. You can see some of those petals there a little bit in need of some assistance to spread themselves out. You saw me put some salt in there. That's to stop them burning. It's also to draw off some of the moisture. So that is that. Now then, I'm going to prepare myself some garlic. So let me just show you. Got some garlic cloves. We're going to put 3 in. And I don't know whether you know, but the easiest way of peeling garlic is to roll the inner from the outer by holding the outer a little bit down. So you have to hold and roll the inner off. I do think it's necessarily a case of standing here slavishly peeling garlic. It's a little easier if you just roll it away. The bigger garlics are actually a lot easier, a lot better. I always use fresh garlic. I wouldn't think about using anything else. I would rather stand for an extra hour and peel it fresh. I don't really like purees, but I don't know. So this here, we're going to be putting these garlic slices into here, and I want them to melt in. I don't want them to be cooked per se, just melted. Now this here, let's just have another look. This here is doing well. It's sizzling. The bubbles The fat is sizzling. The edge that's in contact with the fat will be slowly caramelizing. I could turn it up if I was feeling impatient, but I'll get a better result if I leave it like that. Then what we're going to do is to turn all that over, and then the other side can get some. You may be thinking, what about the leek? The leek is going to be going in later. I've tried it both ways, and actually the leek towards the end, after it's braised, the butter beans, the leek has a fresher flavour actually if it goes in at the end. So I've shredded these 2 leeks. So we're going to just chop these very small, very thin actually. If you have your knife and you struggle, you might have seen professional chefs chop, 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 chop on TV. That's fine, but you're not a chef and it doesn't matter. So we could just chop nicely. I find it easier to hold the knife a little bit lower in my hand. It is razor sharp and I have control of it here. I find that a lot easier. Obviously you want the blade sloping away from anything to do with your hands. So really it's about going nice and slow. It's absolutely fine that a lot of videos for cookery are quick. I think they're trying to get people to eat proper food by imagining it's a quick thing. But it doesn't have to be. It can be nice and slow and steady and relaxing and cooking. It's a glorious hobby, is cooking. Of all the things I've done in my life, cooking is the one thing I always come back to. It makes things better. It makes me happier if I'm happy, and it makes me happier if I'm sad. It makes me feel better about life. So nice and steady, nice and thin as you can get them really. So they don't have to be cooked, they can just melt in. I often grate garlic into my dishes. I don't often chop it into tiny pieces, I'd rather grate it or slice it. I like seeing it actually. Right, let's just show you this. Here we are. You can see, I can smell, you can see that we're getting some colour. So let's just get this turned over and let's get this up a bit. But that's looking nice. Can you see it's softening down? There's some char on the one side, that's a good piece there. Let's show you that. Some char on there. Fond, brown, fond, F-O-N-D. So just want to just turn this up a little bit. Now I'm on camping gas effectively because I've made the studio somewhere I just can't get gas at the moment, and I like it. It's a very gentle gas. Gas is not all equal. In a Chinese restaurant the gas burners are burned very, very much hotter than say this. This is a nice, even, steady, slow heat and cooks nicely and is proof that you don't need the most expensive cooker in the world to cook well. You know, the gas bottle, this was £50 and the gas bottle was a couple of hundred, a nice good safe one. So you know, you don't need to spend a fortune. What you need is to know what to do. Gas is obviously much, much better. Now then. As you know, we have to bring ingredients into the fray, and with any set of ingredients you need to be organised. I put mine on trays. Trays here, and I work my way through them and then I move them away and then I bring the next tray in. That's how it's done. So we're waiting for these now to just char a little bit on the outside. We've got our sauce ingredients here. This is a cider-braised, so that's cider. Now, the cider you choose does have an impact, evidently. You know that. And I got this one because it's a locally made, relatively locally made in Britain, and it's dry. You might prefer a sweet. Now then, if you're preferring a sweet, you want to be careful about how much maple syrup you put in. It's only a couple of tablespoons anyway, but you just want to be careful. I can hear this now actually. Slightly different noise now that I've turned it up. Let's show you. You can't smell, but I can. I can smell it now. And you see those have wilted down. They've softened. They're giving up the fight. They're mellowing in terms of their colour. And the outer side, the outer edge, where it's been in contact with the pan, is brown. So this is the stage now where we can move. And we're going to put in 2 herbs and a stock cube. Now then, let me just get something that will go in here. So we're putting in some smoked paprika. We're putting in, it's just easier to do this now, to be honest. Let's just get a couple of decent bay leaves. Going to the end of these bay leaves, really. It's quite a herby dish, this one. We're just going to stir that round. I can smell that paprika. Gorgeous. This dish could have gone many different ways. It was very sort of British, and then I wanted something, the paprika in it, and then I wanted to add more herbs and to lighten it. So I've got, let's just say I've got quite a lot of it in the freezer at the moment, but it's right now. Okay, so let's just get this stock cube in. Got a lovely colour on it now. Just going to just break that up. I have to go to the sink and just get my hands cleaner. Can smell it. It's lovely. It's like it's that smoked paprika, but it's very earthy because it's mixing with the caramelization of the mushrooms. The onions. As I get older, I do find my nouns are going. So we're going to put some fresh lemon in. Fresh lemon's absolutely vital. Spilt that. That's good. We'll just melt. Let's just check that stock cube is definitely melted, which it is. That's good. Let's get everything, keep everything moving nice and neat. Right, so we're going to put the cider in. That's good. Turn him up a bit more. Let's get the garlic in. What haven't I put in? Some apple cider vinegar. Just checking that is right, and then we want to put in plenty of lemon zest. It's easy to get the zest off the lemon, I've always found, if the lemon's cold. This one obviously isn't. But you see now, if you were cooking it at home, okay, so it's taking longer than you would if, say, you bought some meal ready made, but your whole house now has this gorgeous, earthy, nourishing smell about it. Your appetite has been lifted. You are feeling spoiled by, I'm just doing some more lemon. People who eat my food, I've got food customers, they generally have remarked that, oh yes, they like it, but they wouldn't be eating it, would they, if they didn't, but that it's light, And I think that's because I use so much lemon. Lemon is the thing to add to something. If it's tasting like it needs more salt, don't just add more salt, add a bit of lemon or apple cider vinegar first. Processed foods, food we eat, sandwiches and stuff, it's got quite a lot of salt in the bread and things like that. So you can see that now coming together. Good. Let's just move that board out of the way. So I'm looking now to check that I've got everything in, and I realise I've just been left with a little bit of water to put in, because you want this saucy. So the sauce has got to come from somewhere. We need to put a little bit of maple syrup in, and let's just get a spoon. Dijon mustard is quite sticky, you need to put some of that in, and let's just get all of that off there. And that's that tray done now. Let's just make sure all this is mixed through. Just looking for the Dijon. That's good. And now the butter beans. I'm watching the shot that you're seeing, and it's funny, it looks so different from my little view here. So that directly over the pan shot's pretty good actually. Right, so let's just think now about herbage. So we're going to put some rosemary in. Now then, I don't know whether you're vegan or you're not. I don't know who you're feeding either. But if you're feeding people who like prefer not to be vegan, let's just say that, then actually we'll just put these in. Rosemary is a really good cheat ingredient. It brings to mind the flavour of chicken. So we've got thyme and rosemary going in there. At the end, you can't taste much rosemary, and fresh thyme's going on the top. But yes, lovely, lovely, lovely. And then we're going to put in those leeks just going there. Just looking around and checking I've got everything ready. Yes, that's good. Okay. So this is now bubbling up and simmering, and this actually is a 10-minute, minimum 10-minute job. And you want to braise that and cook that for at least 10 minutes. You could cook it for longer. And I didn't put the leeks in because they're better later. As I said before, it's much, much fresher. I've got some Maldon sea salt that's going to go, some pepper, but that's where we are with that. And I'm just going to allow that to be on camera for a sec where I just get my next set of ingredients into play. And we're going to just have a little salad. And make a little dressing. Got some fruit coming in. Got some corn flour coming in to thicken as well. And all the time this is braising. Now you could put a lid on it, just like that. That's what I did when I'm making it. That's not very helpful for you, but you need this time on it to just let it all meld together. But meantime, I'm just going to talk to you again and make up some corn flour. So corn flour, when I was learning to cook, I was fastidious about following the recipe. So the recipe would say 1 teaspoon of corn flour, 1 teaspoon of water, mix it, throw it in. And if it didn't work, that was it. It was just like, well, I really wouldn't get too bothered about it. Corn flour, just buy tons of it. It's really cheap. Just get into the habit of freeing yourself from the tyranny of corn flour. It's a magic ingredient, really. But just make corn flour slurry. It's smooth. It's corn flour and water. Make it with as little water as you can get away with, generally, I think. But it doesn't matter, because you can throw it away, and it's quite nice to have some just here. You can put it in, stir it round, thicken it, and if it's not enough, you've got some more made, you know. So just make some corn flour. I buy it by in 5 kilo things, which yes, it's probably excessive. So let's just have another look at this. Okay, so we've been running now. I did 10 minutes of prep before we came. So it's 19:21. Okay, so 19:21. If you needed to eat this, you could just put the corn flour in, thicken it, put the leeks in, bang, you're done. Half an hour. And you will say, yes, but you are quicker. Not that much. The only thing I did was get all my ingredients out. A really good way to solve your dinner issues is to get your ingredients out in the morning and put them out before you go to work, or in the afternoon, because coming into a kitchen with your ingredients laid out and perhaps your recipe there, you think, okay, so it's mise en place. It's putting everything in place and getting ready. If you were going to make this ahead and then freeze it down, I wouldn't put the leeks in until you reheated it, ready for service. So, you know, really nice and fresh. You want those fresh. You don't want those to just disappear into leek mush. It's very important, I think, if you eat plants, solely plants, then texture is vital. And I've got onion petals in here today because they're a nice texture. And butter beans, obviously, we're going to put something nice and sharp on the top in terms of flavour. We've got some verdure here. Obviously, there's lots of flavour gone into here. The leeks will have texture, and then we've got some maple, crunchy maple walnuts here to go on the top, and then some Maldon sea salt crunch. It's about texture. It's obviously about flavour, but it's also about texture. It's so important if you're not using animal products. So that's it. So we're on with that. Now, we're going to use corn flour to thicken. It's very easy. It's very adaptable. And I've made up my slurry. And you're not meant to put corn flour into something that's doing this. Look at it. The corn flour will go in, it will go, and then it'll go into lumps. We don't want to do that. However, we can get away with it if we pour the corn flour over the spatula and we pour it over. We can get away with that. I will turn it down a little bit, however, to just take the edge off this rolling. But you really can thicken on the hoof, pour it. Let me just make sure I'm showing that, yeah. So pour it over the spatula, move it around. And the spatula is in effect taking it in. There we go. So we've thickened that now, and we haven't had to take the roll off it, as it were. Just move that cup out of the way. So I've not put the leeks in, Follow the method as written, but I've not put them in just so that you can see that thickening, that lovely thickening. And now what we've got is the sauce, plenty of it, lush, has stuck to the ingredients. And look, the butter beans have gone so shiny now, gorgeous. So I will toss the leeks in. Oh, it's immediately fresh, light. It's it's lovely. It's lovely. Now, if you weren't here, I would be just bobbing a lid on this. But you are, so I'm not. I probably have simmered it for a little bit longer as well, but that's okay. Now, some of you, indeed me, I'm thinking, oh, it might be a bit thick that. We don't know. We need to let the water come out of the leeks. The leeks, get them shredded as fine as you can. Put them on the diagonal if you can, if you want to. Familiarise yourself with the cleaning process of leeks. And if we need to, we will put more water in there. I routinely have a jug of water. I have it next to me and I pour it in and adjust all the time. Quick taste and we're off. Now then, let's go back to this camera. We're going to make some dressing. I'm just going to remove said item. So dressing, always, you need some seasoning in it. And I find, not that much, I find the easiest way to get the seasoning through a dressing is to dissolve it in the acid. This is verjus. You could use any vinegar you like, but just dissolve the salt, or you can move that out of the way, or you can move like that's dissolving the salt. But you know, put your salt in. Vinegar, oil, other flavourings. Salt, vinegar, oil, other flavourings. Easy. We don't need to buy them dressings, plastic bottles. If you're going to get some plastic bottles for dressings, get some smoothie makers and make some dressings. I've got a couple on the go on a permanent basis and it's brilliant. Okay, so I've got some lemon rapeseed oil here. And that, my good friends, is dressing. Taste it. Oh, that's very nice. That's so nice. Right. Oh. Miracle product, verjus. I'm just keep myself tidy here. Get yourself some nice ingredients if you're interested in food, you know. Verjus, lovely. What else am I seeing here? Pomegranate molasses makes anything remotely ropey taste amazing. I've got a smoked, must be next door in the other kitchen. I've got a smoked rapeseed oil. Stunning. Where is that? Stunning. Yeah, all sorts of great ingredients. Get interested. This is one of life's pleasures. Now then, let me just see what I'm thinking about this. I need to taste him. Needs a little bit more of that. And I personally, because I'm eating it, follow the recipe as written, but I'm now, and it's delicious, it's lovely, but I'm eating this for my tea now. So I'm just going to put all of that lemon juice in. I can't get enough of it. On the sly, I'll probably put some more apple cider vinegar in it. I actually think I did those leeks too fine there, if we're honest. But never mind. Let's taste that again. But did you notice that I didn't put salt in? It's my palate immediately went salt, but it's not. It's not what it needed. It needed more acid. Yes, lush, lush, lush. Let's just put him down there. Right. Okay, so on top of this salad, that's not the right knife. Come on, Julia. I've got this awful habit in the winter of getting up at 3:30. That's somehow extremely pleasing, isn't it? It's very pleasing. Get yourself a sharp knife. Lovely. That ain't so pleasing, so I'm going to give up now. That's not good in there now. I've got a pear in there that's rapidly dissolving into something that is nothing like a pear. So if you're watching this and you've got any questions about kit, please ask me. I've been cooking for 40, I won't say how long, but 40 years and a little bit more. I cook professionally, but I've cooked since I was 8, and when you do something for a long time, you get very practiced at it, and you also make loads of mistakes. So don't hang back. Ask questions. So I've got a little bit there of fruit, that'll be good. Let's get him out of the way. And we need to put him in here. This needs off. So when you cut your fruit up, then of course, lemon. If you're not going to use him immediately, lemon. Stops him going brown. But just do him at the end, you know. I'm going to dress this with this. So I've got the oil and the verjus on there now, so that's all going to stop that from going brown. Let's just, can't stand food on things. That's there, right. So we're ready. So okay, so it's 2 minutes over, 17:32. Not too bad from scratch. Not a difficult meal. If you miss any of the lemon out, it'll be awful. Tasteless and flat. Let's just show you what I'm seeing. This is what I'm seeing. Now then, just on the herb side of things, if you're going to if you're not going to eat all of this today, I'd just leave those herbs in because they're just going to impart more flavour. This is certainly enough food for 4. I'm known for my big portions. I think 1, 2, you might get 6 actually. I probably will amend that recipe to say that it serves 6. So this is a little sharp touch, and when I say sharp, what I mean is sharper on the palate and sharper to look at. Crisscross. It's needed. And then we've got some toasted walnuts with a few, tiny amount of, not a few, a tiny amount of, that looks nice, a tiny amount of maple syrup on. And if you had parsley, you could, let's just see if we can show that better. If you have parsley, you could do parsley, but thyme is the one, really. And when you're putting your thyme leaves on, don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do that. Scatter. And the same with the nuts. Nice and clean and tidy. Now then, mould and sea salt. Definitely needed. Again, don't be too tidy. Show yourself what you've made to eat, and a few little drops of dressing. And where is he? Where is he? Got another one here. Lemon zest. Do it right at the end. Oil. Got your oil. And there you go. Cider, braised butter beans. There's a parsnip mash recipe. I don't think you need it really. Then you've got pear and apple, red apple, because then you've got nice little red ends. Lots of thyme, lots of herbs. Lemon throughout, laced with lemon. It's a perfect dish. It's perfect for any time of year really, to be honest, but especially in the winter, and this probably is my Christmas Eve supper. So let me just dig in. Of course, it's lovely. I've made it a lot, and it should be lovely, quite honestly. The thyme on the top comes through, that fresh thyme straight away, and then there's thyme and rosemary through it. There's crunch straight away, walnuts, nice crunch on those because I've toasted those, and then you have the freshness of the apple and the fruit. It's not fruity, it's savoury and it's unctuous, and there's an umami coming there from the cider, and also the sweetness of the caramelised onions actually, but then they've been lightened with the leeks. So this cider braised butter beans is a perfect dish. It's perfect for you right now. If you're thinking about anything about what's for tea, make cider braised butter beans. It's delicious and a true treat.